Should you be worried about the new lethal fungus that we're hearing about in the news? It's Sarah Banta with Accelerated Health TV and radio show, and I wanted to touch on what's in the news. This new lethal fungus, what is it? Candida auris, an emerging fungus considered an urgent antimicrobial resistant threat, spreading at alarming rates in the U.S. healthcare facilities. And so what does this mean? So they're saying that people who are very sick, have invasive medical devices, or have long-term or frequent stays in health care facilities are at the highest risk for getting this. The CDC has deemed Candida auris as an urgent antimicrobial resistant threat because of its often resistance to multiple antifungal drugs, spreading easily in healthcare facilities and can cause severe infections with high death rates. So I wanted to touch on this in this article and in the news. They are saying that the timing of this increase in findings from public health investigators suggest that the spread may have worsened due to the strain on the healthcare and public health systems during COVID-19 pandemic. So there's that. But let's look at what is Candida? What is fungus? What is viral? What is bacterial? What happens in the body? Are these things meant to be targeted one-off like we are being taught? So Candida can be beneficial. It's a fungus that helps with nutrient absorption and digestion when it's in the proper levels of the body. In the ecosystem of the microbiome, there's this healthy balance of bacteria and virus and fungus. They all play nice in the sandbox, right? So when one gets out of whack, and maybe the immune system is lowered, then something like this, where the Candida then can overtake and overpopulate. And then it becomes, it goes from a commensal organism to a pathogenic organism. So when there's too much of Candida, then the symptoms of Candida overgrowth appear. When the pH balance is off, the Candida yeast may grow out of control, leading to more of a systemic problem. Now, what are the causes of this? You guessed it. Drugs and antibiotics that kill off your good bacteria. Antibiotics don't just kill the bad bacteria, but they kill the good bacteria too. The microbiome then becomes imbalanced as the good bacteria helps keep the Candida under control. So without the good bacterial keeping the microbiome balanced, the antibiotics lead to a breeding ground for all Candida, not just the one they're talking about. Birth control pills, they themselves don't directly cause a yeast infection or Candida overgrowth. However, by combining a diet high in refined sugars and carbs combined with antibiotics, birth control can trigger a yeast infection. Sometimes oral corticosteroids can trigger an overgrowth of Candida. Cancer treatments, diabetes and insulin resistance, that's a no-brainer, because what does Candida feed off of? What does fungus feed off of? What does bacteria feed off of? What does cancer feed off of? Sugar. Sugar levels in the mouth or other mucous membranes are higher in diabetics than those with insulin resistance. And I've mentioned that 90% of you are insulin resistant or pre-diabetic or diabetic now. Unfortunately, those are the statistics. So unless you are being very intentional with your diet and some supplements, lowering your insulin resistance, you probably have insulin resistance. And the spike protein is making things worse with our insulin levels and tripping up those signaling pathways in the body. And I go into that through some other podcasts and in my articles, so you can dive into that deeper. But to make matters worse, usually a person with insulin resistance is eating a diet higher in sugar, which will further feed the fungus. And then you've got foods with mold, even the healthy foods like the peas, pea protein, grains, grapes. Those foods and mushrooms are the healthy food, right? They tend to have mold, and those foods can trigger candida growth in the body. And then the grains, the starches, and the sugars, all of those break down to simple sugars that feed candida. Symptoms to look out for: intestinal issues like flatulence, burping, bloat, constipation, diarrhea, stinky smelling stools, cramps. All of those can be signs of an imbalanced gut. Sinus infections, brain fog, mood disorders. Candida overgrowth can lead to dramatic mood swings, anxiety, irritability, depression, panic attacks. Skin and nail fungal infections, hormonal balances. Candida infections can cause early menopause, PMS, low libido, migraines, endometriosis, water retention, mood swings, and weight gain. All of those things together. Candida can mimic the estrogen, leading to hormonal imbalance. Then also to look out for recurring vaginal and urinary tract infections or oral thrush. And when you are killing off candida, some die-off symptoms to look out for: headache, fatigue, dizziness, impaired brain function, intestinal distress, including, or intestinal, distress, including bloat, gas, constipation, nausea, sweating, sinus infection. So those are some things to look out for. But how can you get rid of candida, and how can we take the fear out of this lethal threat that we are being told about? The accelerated candida cleanse protocol is what I've put together. Super easy, and it boosts your immune system so that you are not only fighting off candida, but you're creating that nice sandbox ecosystem where all of the players, the candida, the fungus, the bacteria, the viruses, they're all playing nicely in the sandbox. And in that cleanse, we've got the Mega Myco Balance, which is formulated with undesolenic acid and bee propolis, and that is known to support healthy yeast and fungal balance in the body. Then we add in the Mega IgG 2000, which I personally take on a daily basis. I feel like it cleans up all of those little bugs that aren't supposed to be in there, including food poisoning. It's been shown to reduce gut permeability, improve intestinal absorption, and the serum has a high binding affinity for a variety of the endo and exotoxins secreted by these microorganisms. I love that Mega IgG 2000. You can add in the Restore Flora, which is a very specific probiotic that has been studied for candida itself, and the Acceleradine. The Acceleradine and the Accelerated Silver, which I'm going to go into in a minute, are in all of my cleanses, and there's a reason. Iodine has been known to be antipathogenic, antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-candida, antifungal. It's obviously been shown to increase ATP production, increase cellular health, increase thyroid health, increase metabolism, caloric burn, brain function, physical performance, wound healing, fat burning, all of those amazing things. But it's also going after the fungals and the bacterias and the candida that we're going after. I love the iodine because this Acceleradine is the only iodine that is 100% bioavailable, and it's actually feeding all 100 trillion cells in your body. And as the thyroid's functioning optimally and the ATP is optimized, the immune system improves and the body's able to fight these pathogens like candida more effectively. So you are not at risk. Remember what I said, the people at risk are the ones with lower immune systems, the ones that are probably on medication, probably been exposed to some sort of antibiotics or other, something or other that is killing off that bacteria in the gut, that now the immune system is actually having to try to rebuild. The iodine is helping do that. And then you add in the Accelerated Silver, which is enhancing your immune system's ability to devitalize all of those foreign pathogens, including those that contribute to candida overgrowth and leaky gut, to help fight the bacterias and all of those things, to put the niceness back into that that sandbox, if you will. You can also add in the cellular detox powder, which soaks up all of the die-off symptoms that a lot of people get with candida cleanses. It soaks all of those things up, so the burden on the liver and the kidneys go away, and it's just kind of soaked up and taken through the intestinal tract very simply and easily, reducing the inflammation, helping with bloat, helping with things like colitis and Crohn's disease, any inflammation in the gut, healing the gut. It also soaks up the intesticides and heavy metals that we're exposed to, and so much more. You can also add in the accelerated keto. Why? Because this puts you into ketosis. Then you're not craving the sugars. Sugar feeds candida. Simple as that. So all of these supplements mean nothing if you're not willing to take the sugar out of the diet. Easier said than done. The accelerated keto gives you the mindset and the physical and mental energy to have the willpower to get off the sugar and focus on the wild animal proteins, focus on the vegetables that are not sulfur or oxalates, which trip up the detox pathways and can actually, in a domino effect, cause more candida to overtake the gut. So it's not just about sugar, but it's also about some of these healthy foods that we need to get rid of as well. The accelerated keto gives you that power over your diet and your willpower to focus on the foods that are going to allow intermittent fasting and the candida cleanse to do its work. You can also add in the Megaspora probiotic, which is the type of probiotic that has a brain. So it gets down in there and it says, okay, I need more of that, less of that. It's not like any other probiotic. So those are the supplements, really important to intermittent fast, to help the gut have time to go after candida and the other foreign pathogens, also to help heal, reduce the inflammation, and heal that leaky gut and the tight junctions. For more tips and tools, join my free group coaching in the link below on Telegram. No downside whatsoever. We are there to teach you on a daily basis, to troubleshoot, to answer your questions. And you can also join me on my website for my articles, all of my podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays that are live. And there's no reason not to join the group coaching. I cover all of this, and you are led by me and surrounded by a like-minded group. Thanks for joining me today.